This presentation will show you the basics of creating an annotated bibliography. My name is Laura Hand, and I am a tutor from the Reading and Writing Center. An annotated bibliography has several key functions. It justifies your choice of sources. It proves that you understand the source and its validity. It prepares you for advanced English classes and other classes that required annotated bibliographies. And according to Cornell University, it informs the reader of the relevance, accuracy, and quality of the sources you have cited. An annotated bibliography requires several intellectual skills. You need to be able to locate and record citations from books, periodicals, and documents that may contain useful information and ideas to your topic. You will briefly examine and review the actual items. You need to choose works that provide a variety of perspectives on your topic. You need to be able to cite books, articles, and documents using the appropriate MLA styles. And you need to write a concise annotation that summarizes the central theme and scope of the book or article. Include one or more sentences that describe these two important features. You need a description of the author's background to establish his or her authority, and you need an explanation of how the work illuminates your topic. An annotation contains four important pieces of information: the credentials of the author or source, the content, which is a one-sentence summary of the source's main point, a brief explanation of how the author supports his or her main point, and a brief explanation of how this source is used to support your thesis. Let's look at how your annotated bibliography should be formatted. The entire page should be double-spaced with no extra spaces between citations. The title is simply Annotated Bibliography with no underlining, boldface, italics, quotation marks, etc. The citations are arranged alphabetically according to the author's last name. The first line of each citation should be left margin justified. Each line after that should be indented, known as a hanging indent. The annotation begins immediately after the citation. The annotation should not be written in the first-person point of view, and all citations must be formatted according to the MLA guidelines. Let's look at a sample annotation. So you will notice in this example that I have my citation bolded, my author's credentials highlighted in yellow, my summary in green, the source's argument in blue, and the explanation in purple. I have done this in this example so that you can see the different features. However, in your annotation, you will not have any highlighting or boldface print. So let's look at my citation. It begins with the author's last name and then first name, the title of the source, the container of where that source came from, the editor information, the publisher, the date, and the page number. Immediately following my citation, I have one sentence where I give the author's credentials. My next sentence is a summary of what this particular article was about. Following that, I have an explanation of what this source's argument was. And then finally, I give my explanation for why this particular source was used in my paper. The following video is going to show you how to format your annotated bibliography in Microsoft Word. Once you have all of your annotations entered, you can see here that my title is simply Annotated Bibliography. It's at the top of my page, and it's not in any boldface or italics. Then I have each of my citations entered here. So the first part, as we discussed, is the citation. The second part is where I give the author's credentials. The third part is my summary and explanation of what this particular source was about. And then finally, I give the explanation of why I'm using this source in my paper. Now, I have already formatted this correctly, but I'm going to show you the steps of how to format it. So you want to highlight your entire document and make sure that everything is in Times New Roman 12-point font. From here, we're going to open the paragraph settings to make sure that our spacing is correct. In Settings, under the Indentation section, you want to select the drop-down under Special and select Hanging. From here, you want to make sure that both your before and after spacing is set to 0 that the box "Don't add extra space between paragraphs" is selected and that it's set to double space. After you have done this, make sure that you have no additional spaces between each of your citations. Once you have visually checked your annotated bibliography, let's make sure that your citations are in alphabetical order. To do this, you can simply cut and paste and arrange them yourself, or you can highlight all of your annotations and use the sorting feature, which is in the Paragraphs tab. If you click on Sort, you want to make sure that you have Paragraphs, Text, and Ascending selected. Now, don't make the mistake like I just did and select your title and paragraphs too, because this will alphabetize everything. You want to make sure that you only select your annotations if you're going to use the sorting feature. I hope that this presentation helps you format your annotated bibliography. If you have any questions, please contact me either through the Canvas inbox or through the tutoring Q&A discussion board on your Canvas page.